Tommy is a good boy. My mummy always told me to be a good boy. I've tried really hard to be that, even after she died. I've never stolen anything or broken any laws. I don't stay out late unless it's for work. I don't drink or smoke. I don't go to parties. I'm 29, but I've never had a girlfriend. I've never hurt anyone. I try really hard. Sometimes it's difficult though. Like in this new job I have, there's no problem at the job, don't get me wrong. It's getting back to the apartment that is difficult. I got this new job after being fired from my last one. I was a cook at Taco Bell. Now I'm working as a security guard at a parking lot outside of the city. I got to do the same night shift, and I come home at around 3 AM every night. It's always really dark and cold outside when I get into the train, and the train is always empty. Sometimes I sleep, but sometimes I can't. Sometimes a homeless person will wake me when I fall asleep. But now it's hard, and after a couple of months there's this girl who also takes the train with me. She isn't pretty. She has dirty blonde hair and a greasy face full of pimples, but she sometimes tries to talk to me. She always wears the same hoodies. It's either the red hoodie or the grey hoodie. She smells a little like cigarettes. I can smell it because she has got close to me a couple of times. I ignored her the first 3 times she tried talking to me, but she kept trying. I think she's lonely. I'm not lonely. Mummy said I don't need friends because they make you do things that Jesus doesn't want you to do, like smoking marijuana and things like that. She used to say good boys are good by themselves. They don't need friends or girlfriends. She said maybe someday she would help me find a good wife, but she died before that. Thing is, even though I know I shouldn't, I get lonely sometimes, and I cry. So I gave up. One day, I tapped the girl's shoulders and tried talking to her. She talks a lot, that one. Her name's Susan. I mostly just listen and said a couple of things now and then. She asked questions about me, but I didn't really answer. I don't do a lot of things. She said she worked at a retail store as a seller. I told her I was a security guard. I didn't really like the things she liked too much. She watched horror movies, but I've never seen any of those. She listened to some weird music from the 60s, but I don't really listen to music. She showed me some songs one day. One was from a band called Fleetwood Mac. I didn't really like it, but I told her I did anyway so she would like me. She smiled. One day, Susan did not come. She had given me her cell phone number, but I was too nervous to call and ask what had happened. I was sitting at the train. There was still like 15 minutes left before I reached my stop. I was looking at the window on the opposite side of the train. You could barely see anything. There were very few buildings and things between the city and the town where I lived. The window's view was pitch black. That's when Mummy showed up. Her reflection was showing on that window, flickering, waving like in the water. She looked really pale. Her eyes really dark. Her mouth was purple, and she had barely any hair left in her head, which made her look even older than she already was. She did not say anything. Sometimes she wasn't even there, but every time she showed up, she would stare at me. The next day I asked Susan why she hadn't come. She told me she had the flu and that she did not want to come today either, but her boss told her she had to. She sneezed and I gave her a little towel I had in my pocket. She thanked me and looked at me strange. She moved her hand to my pants and opened the zipper. She touched my wiener and did something that I don't know what it is, but it felt really good. I liked it very much, but I looked at the same window from the day before and saw that Mummy's image was watching the whole time. She did not look happy. The next day Susan didn't come again. She sent me a text message telling me that her flu had gotten worse. I was riding the train by myself again when Mummy's reflection began to talk to me from the glass of the window. "You haven't been a good boy, Tommy," she said. "Why, Mummy?" I asked. "You have let that girl lead you astray, Tommy. You are no longer pure. You are no longer innocent. Like Adam, you tasted the fruit of the forbidden tree, and Eve made you do it." I began to cry. "Forgive me, Mummy, forgive me. I did not know. I don't want to be bad. I want to be a good boy." Then there were 2 dots of glowing red light in her eyes. "You can be good again, Tommy." The next night I did what Mummy said. I invited Susan to my apartment and stabbed her in the face, the neck, the stomach, and so many other places. She tried to scream, but Mummy helped. This time it wasn't just Mummy's reflection, she was actually there with me, wearing a beautiful black dress, and she held Susan's mouth shut. After we were done, there was blood all over, and Susan looked even uglier. Still, I liked her like that. I'm not alone anymore. I have Mummy and Susan living with me now. I asked Mummy if Susan could stay. Her red eyes glowed, and she said Susan could, that she would allow it, because I'm a good boy.